So I am sure that all of you are now eager to share talentcapital.ai across your networks and to check it out for yourself. So around the room, we've got QR codes that you can use to take a look at the site. And next, we'll hear from many incredible leaders this morning who've helped make this initiative possible and who represent the kind of bold cross-sector collaboration that our region is known for. And I'd like to give a special thanks to our next speaker, Alex Orfinger, who brings together so many key leaders here in our region who are in the nonprofit, private sector, and public sectors to advance this effort. And as publisher of the Washington Business Journal and a member of the Board of Trade, he is a natural connector and, it is clear, an influential voice for the greater Washington region. So please join me in welcoming Alex Orfinger to come up to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Rodney, and good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here today among such a diverse and committed group of leaders from across the region, as Rodney mentioned. This effort has been guided by our shared focus on 5 key pillars: to build and sustain a trusted regional data hub, to strengthen and diversify the labor market, to coordinate philanthropic investment and nonprofit action to maximize impact, and to strengthen the safety net, and to develop a regional economic vision that grows the private sector and drives innovation, all within an effective communications plan. Today, as you've heard, marks an important milestone in this work. It's a first of its kind regional initiative bringing together government, business, education, and nonprofit partners to strengthen economic resilience, starting with support for displaced federal workers. What better day to launch this than today? Regional collaboration and leadership are usually not words that we associate with our region. With all of its complexity, our region is a challenge. But this effort, what brought us together today and what will come out of this effort, is our region working together, and for that I am thankful for so many of the people in this room today. This effort in Talent Capital AI shows what's possible when we align vision with action. It's more than a platform, it's a lifeline for displaced federal workers and a blueprint for regional collaboration, and I'm incredibly proud to have played a small part in this. I want to recognize everyone who made this possible, the leaders and experts who invested their time and resources to make this platform a reality, and to all of you here today, your engagement, advocacy, and willingness to work together is what will make this effort sustainable over the long term and transformative over the long term. As the publisher of the Business Journal, I see this moment for our region to come together in new ways and to create a prosperous future together for everyone who calls Greater Washington home. Talent Capital reflects these values of collaboration, of ingenuity, and of equity that define Greater Washington. I encourage you all to explore the platform and just thank you for your participation. It's now my pleasure to introduce my partner, Tonya Wellens, the President and CEO of the Greater Washington Community Foundation. Tonya and I we've been an integral at each other's hips for months as part of this effort, and I welcome her to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. So I want to start my remarks by acknowledging the immense amount of pressure that the people in the Greater Washington region have been exposed to in the last many months. The economic, social, and political turmoil that our region has experienced is one that will be written in the history books or the AI tools of the future. The compounding impact of the loss of federal jobs, contracted services, grants to nonprofits, and its impact on our neighbors is unparalleled. And the overreach of the federal government into the affairs of local government has been difficult to manage and has caused even more fracturing in our community. And so I want to say a huge thank you to the people in the Greater Washington region, to workers in every sector, leaders in every industry, folk who are appointed, people who are elected or self-appointed, the residents who are native or transplants, foreign-born or naturalized, the people of this region. Thank you for your perseverance. From the 9/11 attacks on the Pentagon to the economic crisis in 2008 and in 2011, to numerous federal government shutdowns, COVID-19, and now, my peers and partners in the social impact sector, philanthropy and nonprofits, are often called upon in times of crisis. We're called upon to bridge gaps, to address urgent needs, to fund and deliver programs that keep people from falling through the social safety net. In just the last 8 months, regional philanthropy has mobilized more than $20 million in grants and commitments above and beyond our annual spending and disbursements. Foundations have increased payouts, established pooled funds, backfilled losses in federal contracts, and supported nonprofits with general operating resources to help them navigate this uncertainty. I want to offer a special acknowledgement to my peers and partners in philanthropy and in the nonprofit sector, or the social impact sector as I like to call it. Let's acknowledge them. And we know that social impact alone, the social impact sector alone, is insufficient. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King is, "While philanthropy is commendable, it must not cause the philanthropist to overlook the circumstances of economic injustice which make philanthropy necessary." 53 years ago, the Greater Washington Community Foundation, where I had the privilege of leading, was founded as a result of business leaders, civic leaders, and family foundation leaders who were determined to create a public charity that would address both the urgent needs of our community and build bridges for the future of the Greater Washington region forever. Our very existence is proof that when leaders come together across sectors and have vision, confidence in the future, strategic leadership, and resources, all designed for the public good, anything is possible. Over the last many months, it has been my pleasure to work so closely with Alice Orfinger to really reknit the civic infrastructure that makes this region work. The result is a new set of civic alliances that brings together leaders across the region, from Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, suburban Maryland, bridging sectors, philanthropy, business, government, research institutions, and nonprofits to seize the moment of opportunity and drive for collective and lasting impact. So we are investing in, of course, the social safety net, but also in scenario planning for new industry opportunities to mitigate against the over-reliance on federal government. We've established partnerships through the DMV Monitor to guide decision-making and offer a window into regional trends and predictions using shared tools and publicly accessible data. And of course, we are focused on jobs. As a partner to Talent Capital AI, we are excited to join forces with the private sector and increase the opportunity to strengthen its workforce and enable our neighbors to transition to new career opportunities without leaving the region or suffering long periods of unemployment. These partnerships are indicative of the future of the Greater Washington region, and we, the people, get to create this together. Thank you.
I may not be up, but I'm taking the mic right now. I want to thank you, Mayor Bowser, and the secretaries who are here, Nina Albert and Paul Keim, for endless conversations about this, but also many other things as 2025 kicked off rigorously. I am Kathy Hollinger. I am the CEO of the Greater Washington Partnership, and we are an alliance of CEOs from the largest employers, starting here in Washington, D.C. and stretching out. We go up to Baltimore and we go down to Richmond. We are about 50 leaders strong. We are mostly private sector. We have university presidents as well as hospital CEOs, and we have a few nonprofit leaders who are immersed in this region and keep our issues top of mind. Let me tell you, I will definitely go off script here and just tell you why we are here. All of this work requires a private sector partner, and we have many. We have the Board of Trade and the work that they do. We have the great chambers that are here in DC, but across the region. And these issues are not easy to solve for. They require investment. They require intellectual capacity, resources to help people, to place people, to think about skills that are needed, to think about matching that is needed, and to think about the kind of skills that are needed as we think about a future-ready economy. And our region is going to look different, and we want to be prepared. And while we can absolutely think about the data that will make us very sad every day, we try to think about the data that will help inform us to think about what our future could be with industries that are poised for growth. So we are here today because early 2025, while the work that we do typically is rooted in long-term growth and long-term competitiveness for the region, it was an opportunity for our 50 leaders to come together and think about what can we do in this moment to think about displaced federal workers right now. And I believe it was in March or April where we stood up a job board that was just a job board of the largest employers to understand supply and demand at that moment. And there were 7,000 plus jobs that were identified with, we know, many, many more that were needed. But at a minimum, what came out of that effort was a need to think about who are the partners around the region who can think about scaling this in a way that it becomes a shared effort with our public sector partners. And Talent Capital could not be more of an example of that. It is what is needed today. It is what is needed in terms of thinking beyond the 50 that came together in April. It's what public sector has clearly committed to do, and for that we are very excited. This is a very big day, and we are very proud of the achievements to get to this day and have this be launched here in Washington, D.C. with our mayor and all of our elected officials across the region. You heard from JP Morgan as Lexi kicked us off. This is an incredible building to be in, right here, headquartered in Washington, D.C. We work with them and applaud their skills and talent work and thinking about a future workforce. We also couldn't have made any of the strides as a partnership without our partners at Washington Gas. We have Blue Jenkins, who is here with us today. They have been a committed partner here in the region. They are committed to strengthening workforce, investing in training and apprenticeships and upskilling opportunities, all of what is going to be needed as we think about the scaffolding of Talent Capital. And it is with that that I would love to introduce Blue Jenkins, Washington Gas, to the podium to offer some comments on their incredible commitment here to this region and to retaining talent right here in our region. Blue?
Thank you, Kathy. So as Kathy mentioned, I'm Blue Jenkins. I'm the president of Washington Gas. I have the privilege of leading this historic company in our region, and I also have the privilege of knowing many of you. So we've been here for a long time. In Greater Washington, talent has always been our greatest asset. But today, as we grapple with displacement of federal workers, increased competition for knowledge, talent for knowledge sector jobs, talent retention is not just a priority, it's a necessity for regional growth and competitiveness. Now, we've been here a long time. We started in 1848. Those of you that have heard me speak have probably heard the story, so I'll save you the long version. I'll give you the short version. We got our start by installing gas lights at the White House and in the Senate and House chambers and along Pennsylvania Avenue, help illuminating the nation's capital. As the nation's region expanded, so did we. Washington Gas expanded service into Northern Virginia and into suburban Maryland, and we now serve more than 1.2 million customers in our region. We're also proud to be an employer who not only serves the region, but invests in the future by providing safe, reliable, and affordable energy for our customers, for our communities, and for the businesses that grow here. We proudly employ about 1,500 people across the region, and we support thousands of construction jobs doing that work across the region. So we're very committed to the talent and development of what happens here. Retaining and growing talent is central to our thriving economy and for all of us here in this region. Employers like us depend on strong, skilled workforces in order to grow the business, for innovation, and to grow the region. Now, I have the privilege of serving on many of the business leadership tables that sit across this region, including, as Kathy mentioned, on the Greater Washington Partnership and across many of the organizations that are represented here in this room. It's my privilege to sit on the board of the Greater Washington Partnership, and I appreciate the opportunity to address you. Across these forums, the same message rings true. To build a competitive economy, we must build a competitive workforce. The partnership worked to shape a multi-year regional economic framework, one that can better align the private sector with the public sector, is tied directly to ensuring we have the skilled workforce needed to sustain both the foundational industries as well as those that are poised for growth. So, as a bit of a call to action and a thank you, I commend the public sector leaders for coming up today with the private sector leaders for this collaborative formation. We're thrilled to be part of it. Talent Capital is a powerful example of what can be done when we come together in our region. So Washington Gas is proud to stand with the other leaders in this region to support the workforce development, to support our regional growth, and to help move us forward as the economy and region grows. So thank you for allowing me to be here today. Thank you for the leadership of all of you involved, and thank you for the opportunity to support the growth of our region.
Thank you very much to Blue Jenkins and specifically to Washington Gas for their leadership and support of this very important initiative. Thank you so very much. Now, as we all know, today's gathering is about our region's exceptionally talented workforce and how we can best equip them with the tools that they need to succeed. So, I am very pleased to introduce one of those individuals here today, Kathleen Borgetta, to hear her story as a longtime Washington, D.C. resident, a former USAID employee, and now the founder of Pivoting Parents, a community supporting caregivers navigating job loss in the federal workspace. So welcome, Kathleen, and so excited to hear your story.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kathleen Borgetta, and I've been a proud Washingtonian for more than 20 years. I came here on a scholarship to GW with big ambitions and a call to public service. From internships on the Hill to jobs at USAID and the State Department, DC is the place where my career and my family have grown together. Over nearly 2 decades as a global health professional, I worked to save the lives of mothers and babies around the world. But this past January, just 11 weeks after delivering my firstborn, I was blindsided by the dismantling of USAID. I'll never forget receiving my termination letter as I sat in my postpartum support group. I no longer had a job or benefits or a roadmap for what came next. What I did have was my miracle of a son, plenty of experience supporting communities in crisis, and the institutions of this great city. 2 months later, with my baby strapped to me, I hosted my first event at the West End Library, and Pivoting Parents was born. Our mission is to help caregivers navigate career transitions and to provide the resources and community that I wish I had had that day back in January. Since then, we've partnered with the Edlovich Jewish Community Center, local businesses like Busboys and Poets, and a growing ecosystem of organizations eager to help. One of those organizations is Grounded Idealist, a talent capital partner which has mobilized almost 3,000 professional coaches and offered services to over 1,000 people. Working with my coach released me from survival mode and opened my eyes to the opportunity in this moment. I was also accepted into their incubator program, co-designed with the Public Value Lab, to reimagine myself as a founder. Thanks to the supportive programs like these, Pivoting Parents has grown to nearly 1,000 members. We're now a small local business, and just yesterday I submitted our very first grant proposal to pilot a child care collaborative program with a local foundation. Thank you. I couldn't have foreseen that this would be my first year of motherhood, but I also never imagined the many ways in which this community would show up for me and for my family through programs like the DC Paid Family Leave, which allowed my husband and child to be here today and to support me through this, and through the support of neighbors, partners, and city leaders. And so today, I want to thank Mayor Bowser. Your leadership on this initiative will ensure that families like mine and so many other displaced workers across this region will have the tools that they need. This is a dire challenge, but also an enormous opportunity. And I'm grateful to you and to this consortium that you have the vision to fully harness the skills, talent, and drive that displaced workers bring to this region we lovingly call home. Please join me in welcoming a leader who knows personally the power of mothers, of workers, and of this great city, Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, give Kathleen a big round of applause. What a story. We want to thank you for your leadership and for sharing your story with us and for your service to our country and our world. We want to acknowledge that you founded Pivoting Parents because you are a pivoting parent, and congratulations on the birth of your son. And I want to thank all of you for being here. We know that there are literally thousands of people like Kathleen who came to DC to change the world, came for school, fell in love with our city. Some fell in love with our suburbs, and that's okay too. That's good. That's good. We're all in this together. And as I've said many, many times, how important it is not only to focus on the changing footprint of the federal government, but more important to focus on how we are changing. And I always want to say this to our workers: all you did was go to work every day, do what you were supposed to do, and none of this is your fault. And I appreciate also hearing Kathleen talk about how coaching has let her see the opportunities that may be in front of us. And that's what we're all called on as leaders to do, to figure out where we are and figure out how we go forward. And I know that my neighbors in Virginia, and I want to thank you, Supervisor, and I know we've also been joined by Mark Sickles from the General Assembly, so please give Supervisor Lusk and see Mark. And all of our neighbors in Maryland, we all are in a similar situation where we have thousands of highly qualified workers who love this city, and we love them back, this city and this region. And we know that people will stay here. I say the best city in the world, surrounded by the best region in the world. Like that? That's good. People will stay if they have the opportunity. And it's our job. And what the talent capital is about is making sure our region is sticky. People love their neighborhoods, their church communities. They love how walkable and bikeable. They love the transportation system that we have. They love the culture that's in this city, and they've built their lives here. And so our job with the talent capital is to make sure that they're matching their immense skills with great opportunities that keep them in the region. So of course, we also know that it's going to take all of us, and I appreciated Kathy's words about all of our private sector partners who are always looking for great talent. The kind of flip side of what I've heard so far is I've heard from a number of leaders, and we are in the same situation in DC government. When we have an opportunity, when we have an opening, we are getting some really great talent come through our door. And I know that story is repeated from CEOs and leaders around the region. So we want to make sure that everybody stays encouraged, is able to see those opportunities. Already, I'm in love with the AI assistant just from that 60-second review. And so I am sure that the Talent Capital Initiative will be a huge success. So our economy is shifting, our workforce is shifting, and we will shift with it. Now, in some ways, this is a precursor to what could happen in the next talent or workforce revolution that will be spurred by AI. So we will get and be ahead of the curve. So please make sure that you follow us, spread the word about talentcapital.ai, talentcapital.ai, where you will also have opportunities for free and personalized career coaching. We're also offering discounted training in fields like project management, data science, and AI from our leading institutions at the University of the District of Columbia, and you will hear from Dr. Eddington momentarily, George Washington University, and Trinity Washington University. Please give our partners a big round of applause. So I just want to say this in closing, that amid all the change, and sometimes noise, in other cases, the lack of the leadership we'd hope to see, thus our federal government is closed. Our local government is open. So I want to assure you of that. We're open. DC is open. Fairfax is open. All of Maryland, the region is open. Our private sector partners are open. And amid that, we got some good news from our CFO that our economy is demonstrating its incredible resilience. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens because we have been intentional with our goals and strategies. I told you I had a comeback plan. But we won't come all the way back if our people don't come all the way back. And so that's why we continue to be focused on our talent. We've got it. I heard a CEO, we were opening a business in DuPont just yesterday, or expanding one, and he said, like, it was a no-brainer to open here because of the talent that is here. So know that, stay encouraged, find out about all the opportunities, and we are going to keep creating opportunities. So all of the great companies are here, that are already here. Our growth agenda is focused on making it easier for them to do business and grow. For all of the companies who are looking for a new home, our growth agenda says that DC and this region is the place to locate. For new industry, we are looking to attract to Washington, D.C., especially for the wonderful technologists who are already here. Stay here. We're bringing more jobs right to you in Washington, D.C. and the Washington, D.C. region. Thank you all very much, and congratulations on a great effort. And I think I will take the opportunity to introduce an amazing higher education leader who's focused on what we're all focused on, student outcomes, so that students can raise their families right here in Washington, D.C. Dr. Maurice Eddington from the University of D.C.
Good morning. As you heard, I'm Maurice Eddington, the 10th president of the University of the District of Columbia. Yes, woo woo, yes. And it's certainly a privilege to be here today alongside my higher education partners as we launch the Talent Capital Initiative. I think we all have known that DC and the DC region is the talent capital of the world, but we have talent capital in the talent capital of the world. And I'm going to talk about it in just a second. But this is a bold regional effort to connect our workforce with new opportunities for growth and success. I want to acknowledge several of my higher ed colleagues who are with us today for this important work. We have President Jermaine Williams of Montgomery College, Vice President Steve Partridge of Northern Virginia Community College, Dean Liso Riddle of George Washington University, Dean Emily Barnett of Trinity Washington University, and the man who is no stranger to anyone in the room, my good friend and colleague, Andrew Flago, President and CEO of the Consortium of Universities of the Washington Metropolitan Area, who reminded me to make sure that you are aware that we serve over 300,000 students in this region. So Andrew, thank you for your leadership. I also want to take a quick moment to acknowledge any federal workers in the room. Raise your hand. Just want to acknowledge you. Thank you for your service. Our region is home to some of the most skilled and talented professionals in the nation. As I said before, this is our talent capital. Tens of thousands of individuals whose knowledge, creativity, and service have powered the federal government, local communities, and countless industries. Today, as we face unprecedented workforce transitions, shut down federal government, this initiative ensures that we do not lose that talent, but instead channel the talent into the jobs of the future right here. Through talentcapital.ai, our higher education partners have stepped up to provide immediate, employer-aligned solutions that directly respond to today's workforce needs. Together, we are offering a wide range of no-cost or reduced-cost training opportunities. Let me repeat that. No-cost or reduced-cost training opportunities in high-demand areas such as project management, data science, AI, through UDC, GW, and Trinity. Specifically, just to give you an example of what some of those opportunities may look like, at UDC, participants will have access to no-cost training in project management, data science, and also access to no-cost professional coaching services to help them translate that federal service into new career pathways. At GW, participants can benefit from no-cost executive coaching, reduced-cost professional programs, and graduate study opportunities. At Trinity, participants will gain access to no-cost webinars, certificates, and courses designed to support career transitions and professional growth. Collectively, these offerings create a powerful pathway for workers to transition into high-demand careers while strengthening the workforce pipeline for the district and the region. Before I sit down, I also want to acknowledge Deputy Mayor Paul Kime for his vision and leadership, but also for the passion that he displayed the very first time he shared this concept with me. And I was obviously hooked. But I was drawn in by his passion and vision for what we could do when we partner up as public-private government institutions. So I want to commend you, sir, as well as your colleague, Deputy Mayor Nina Albert. And it is now my honor to introduce Maryland Secretary of Labor, Portia Wood.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here today. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and the whole DC team, and all my esteemed colleagues from Virginia. Thanks to JP Morgan Chase for hosting us, and to all of the philanthropic partners and leaders who are here. It's a really important day to be here. When I heard this was going to be the launch day, October 1st, I said, wait a second. There seems like there's a lot going on that day, but it turns out actually to be a perfect day to be having this conversation. So like many of you, I actually live in the Maryland suburbs, but I was a DC resident for over 20 years, and I started my first job in DC 2 doors down from here as a young lawyer. My mom still lives in Columbia Heights. My brother and his family are in Falls Church City, and actually all of us are former feds. My parents spent over 60 years caring for sick and injured veterans as VA docs in their career. So this is sort of a confluence of all those things. So I say all that to say, I'm from a DMV family. So many of us are part of that family. And what does family do when we're faced with challenges? We come together. And that is what we are doing today. And that's what's so important about these efforts. In Maryland, we have a huge number of federal workers and federal contractors who are being impacted. And just this morning, Governor Moore announced a host of resources, supports, everything from help with energy and utilities to housing, and the Department of Labor. We're providing unemployment insurance and short-term loans. But what we know is that we want opportunity and growth. That is what federal workers and contractors want. That's what every single person in this room wants. And so coming together to figure out how we make those investments and grow our economy is absolutely critical. And I talked about federal employees, former feds like myself. We've heard from our wonderful Kathleen and others, so many like her, who have a passion for service and a commitment to growing our local economy. That is one of the best assets any region could ever have. Plus, the DMV is so rich in other human capital assets. We're tops in the nation in terms of people with wonderful higher ed degrees, BAs, PhDs, scientists, researchers. We have these wonderful assets, and it's time for us now to come together and strengthen our infrastructure to retain all that talent in this area and help leverage it. I'm so excited about today's announcement, it's really wonderful that these online and AI tools can help leverage the strong infrastructure that already exists. That's everything from our local workforce boards, and thank you to all of our local workforce professionals who've been working so hard, including our higher ed institutions, our training providers, our nonprofits, and everyone that's working to connect individuals to new training and new opportunities. This new platform can supercharge the impact of those existing resources. And so I'm really excited to figure out how some of these AI-enhanced tools work too. I'm learning myself, and it's something we're all going to need to learn in the coming days. So we know that using this vehicle is going to help all of us work together more closely toward a more equitable and resilient workforce in this moment. I want to thank everyone for that work. And of course, we're excited to take all the next steps together. So I'm excited to announce our next speaker, a leader who has been instrumental in aligning Virginia's economic strategy with this effort. Please join me in welcoming the President and CEO of Fairfax Economic Development Authority, Victor Hoskins.
Oh, thank you, Madam Secretary. Let me begin by saying that there has been a tremendous amount of effort by people like Alex Ofinger and Clark Mercer and others in some rooms late at night, not necessarily in low tones, but maybe in that outside voice, really trying to bring everyone together. And a lot of you know that I believe in this. This is not something I've thought about. This is something that I've done. I've worked in Maryland in economic development. I've worked in Prince George's, in DC as deputy mayor. I've worked in Northern Virginia. I am a regionalist. I live in DC, I work in Fairfax, and I worship in Baltimore City. So I'm paying taxes everywhere, but I'm a true regionalist. I believe in this. I think this is the moment, though, that we can all come together and change our future. You decide your future every day. It is not something that you sit down and plan and think about. You decided every day. We make about 35,000 decisions a day. Can you imagine that? 35,000? But not all of them are equally important. All of you who came here today, all of you who made this happen, you made the right decision because you're going to change our futures for the good. And listen, don't think for a moment that I don't think this is a difficult moment. This is a difficult moment. This is a tough time for a lot of families. And as Secretary Wu pointed out, we're family. And what does family do when things happen? We pull together. You know, people like Jimena, who brought her talented team to put this AI engine, to create this doorway to over 100,000 jobs in this region. The brand group that she brought in to help enhance this. This is a moment that we can't let slip by. We have to change our behavior to create a great future for us. I don't care what's going on. Things always go bad. No, I have never had a day that something didn't go bad. Really. It's how do you respond to the things that go bad. Today is about commitment. Our commitment to our neighbors, our commitment to our community. I want to thank the corporate citizens that stepped up and not only put their money in this, but put their time in this. That's the people I want to thank. I want to thank the elected officials that put up with